Wave 47 deals with the types of bonds present within a metal, nonmetal, nonmetal combination. You already know that covalent compounds exist between two nonmetals, and an ionic compound exists between a metal and a nonmetal combination. But what if all three elements were present within a compound? Well, if that's the case, then that means that both ionic and covalent bonds both occur in that combination. Please note that covalent can also refer to molecular. Covalent and molecular mean the exact same thing. So usually the way we spot compounds that feature all three of these combinations will be something from table E. Please note that table E usually features the polyatomic ions, and most of them feature some type of nonmetal and nonmetal combination. So for example, cyanide consists of carbon and nitrogen, which are both nonmetals. So all of these, cyanide, carbonate, hydrogen carbonate, these are all covalently bound compounds. So if we add a metal to the mix, then the whole compound will be a mixture of ionic and covalent bonds. So whenever you're looking for problems that feature all these two types of bonds present, look for the metal, nonmetal, nonmetal combination. And again, that nonmetal, nonmetal combination will usually feature an ion from table E. Let's try some problems. Which compound has both ionic and covalent bonds? Note that choice 4 features carbonate, which is a nonmetal, nonmetal combination. So we know that carbonate is already covalently bound, but we have to include a metal to the mix in order for ionic bonds to form. Therefore, choice 4 is correct. Let's try another problem. Two categories of compounds are, for this you should be thinking about the major types of bonds that we've studied so far and think about what the correct answer is. If you chose 3, you got it correct. Ionic and molecular. You know that molecular refers to covalent compounds. Here, these are the two major categories of bonds that we studied, and therefore the two major compounds that we'll talk about. Therefore, answer choice 3 is correct. Which compound contains both ionic and covalent bonds? Again, look for that metal, nonmetal, nonmetal combination. If you said choice 4, you got it correct. Sodium is a metal because it's to the left of the staircase, and both C and N are nonmetals to the right of the staircase and feature that metal, nonmetal, nonmetal combination. So both ionic and covalent bonds are present in sodium cyanide. One type of soap is produced when ethyl stearate and sodium hydroxide react. The soap produced by this reaction is called sodium stearate. The other product of the reaction is ethanol. This reaction is represented by the balanced equation below. Ethyl stearate plus sodium hydroxide yields sodium stearate plus ethanol. Identify the two types of bonds in the compound sodium stearate. Note that sodium stearate features a nonmetal, carbon, another nonmetal, oxygen, and another nonmetal, hydrogen. But bound to this compound is a metal, sodium. Therefore, we have a metal, nonmetal, nonmetal combination. So your answer should say covalent bonds or ionic bonds. You could also say single and double bonds because it doesn't specify the type of bonds present. You see that single bond here and double bonds. You may also state polar and nonpolar bonds. Polar bonds, recall, are between a metal, two different nonmetals, carbon and oxygen, for example, and a nonpolar bond which exists between carbon and hydrogen, which would be nonpolar. So again, when looking for compounds that contain both ionic and covalent compounds, look for that metal, nonmetal, nonmetal combination. And frequently that two nonmetal combination will come from table E, one of the polyatomic ions. A nonmetal, nonmetal combination, for example, like cyanide. Thank you for watching, and hopefully this was helpful.